All right, cool. So, what's going on, Free Game Nation? Now, I was asked to do universal laws from King James. I'm gonna do it from the King James version, but it's from Genesis chapter 3. Hmm. I ain't no expert in the Bible, so I'm gonna be reading this in real time. And first, I'm gonna read through it, then I'm gonna see what universal laws I see or what I think uh, I should, tap in on, and I give y'all my opinions from now. So let's kick it off. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast on the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. I spoke on this before. I didn't know it was exactly Genesis chapter 3. I knew it was the book of Genesis. I knew the story. I know the story. I kind of figured out what it was, but when you do so much game and you read so many books, your mind get kind of fuzzy, and you just gotta, sometimes you just need a refresher. So I know where we're going with this. Okay, so let me go to verse 5. Well, I just read verse 5 where you say, "For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." You want to know what the funny part about that is? Did the serpent lie? Nobody never asked themselves that question. Everybody want to jump and say, you see what the woman did to us, and you see this, and you see that, but nobody ever said, did the serpent lie when he said, ye should be as gods, knowing good and evil? Because before that, they was like children. They didn't know nothing. They didn't know nothing about the world they was in. They didn't know nothing about good and evil. They didn't know if they was naked or clothed. They didn't know how to have sex. All they knew was eat this fruit and be happy. They was ignorant to the universe that they presided in. Once they ate that tree of knowledge, they knew everything instantly. They was blinded. They was blinded. Ate the fruit, bam, their eyes open. Kind of ironic, because when you listen to the song Amazing Grace, they say, I was blind, but now I see. But if you go off Genesis chapter 3, it's telling you that sin is a sin. Knowing is a sin. So before I continue, because we're speaking on universal laws here now, right? We're speaking on universal laws in the Bible. We have to understand that all universal laws are neutral. They really aren't tied to any religion. They aren't tied to any organization. They're just tied to the laws of the universe. It's people who will take them and try to mold them, and to try to take something that's half true and then put a philosophy behind it and call it the red pill. Or take something take part of a universal law and then build a whole philosophy around it and call it a religious sector. Take half of a universal law and then build a secret society around it. But the universal law itself is neutral. Anybody can take it and use it however they want to use it. So just because you pick something up and there's some assembly of truth inside of it, that doesn't necessarily make whatever you're picking up and the entirety of whatever you're picking up representing I mean, whatever you picking up or holding, a representation of the truth and the full truth and nothing but the truth. This is where a lot of religious fanatics come into play. This is where a lot of goofy people come into play, because they can have something and they can been and experience something through what they have, and that can blind them to anybody telling them anything else about it. Because now they know they got something that they can hold on to and say, I know this is true because this said this and this happened and I got this from this. Now, that might not make sense to a lot of people because a lot of people ain't trying to hear what I'm saying. A lot of people don't already tuned out. But if you understand what I'm trying to say, then we can keep going. But, the game itself, this is why I always say the game is gender neutral. The game can go either way. A universal law can also go either way. But we finna get in. We finna dig in. We finna dig in because this gonna be a good one. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. What I always tell y'all, your desire will always be the root cause of your simpism. Says right here, when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes. See, a lot of people think that it was a serpent in this story that really made the woman want to do. No, the serpent only directed the woman. The serpent only said, hey, man, if you eat this fruit, you know you want to eat this fruit, but let me tell you, because I know you're kind of scared to eat it. I'm telling you, whatever you think you thought, nah, man, it ain't like that. Go ahead and eat that fruit. And then the woman saw it. She took a second look at it and saw that it was pleasant, and she desired it. Wasn't nothing special about the fruit. What really made her desire the fruit was the fact that God told her that she couldn't eat it. See, God created the desire in the woman. This is another part of the story. If you believe this story, if this is a story that you got your whole faith, your whole entire existence surrounding around, you have to take into consideration that God created the temptation inside of the woman, and that the serpent only took advantage of the temptation that was originally created by God. A lot of people don't want to have that conversation either. You're not supposed to tempt God. But if you believe this book, word for word, God tempted the first two people. We're not supposed to tempt God, but God can tempt us. That don't make no sense either. Because if you go back to the story of where Satan was talking to Jesus on that mountain, Satan told Jesus, if you really the Son of God, you can jump off this cliff right now, and God will send his angels to save you. And Jesus told Satan, it's written, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Because it might not work out good for you. It's a song on YouTube right now called God Don't Play About Me. And a lot of people like to think that they special and all this stuff here. But the Bible tell you, don't tempt the Lord thy God. You think God don't play about you. You think you special. God will show you. Jesus knew himself. God will show me. If I jump off this cliff trying to prove something to you, God will show me and let my brains fall on that floor. So I'm not going to jump off this roof trying to prove a point to you, because it's written, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. But we go back to Genesis chapter 3 and the beginning of people. If you believe this story, starts off with God tempting the people. I don't believe this story. I gotta keep it spoilers alert. I understand why the Bible was written. But Jokasey, you says universal laws in the Bible. It's a lot of universal laws in the Bible. But you got to understand, the Bible has been remixed. This is a propaganda book. Universal laws don't change. It's the reason why the Bible has an Old Testament and a New Testament. They gave us some truth with the Old Testament, and then they said, okay, we're going to give y'all this little fix. We're going to give y'all this little fix of the original religion. So then now we can pivot over here and tell you how we're going to run things on the New Testament. When you got secret societies and all this other stuff, the people who really run the world, they still do stuff by the old book. They still sacrifice. Not only do they sacrifice goats, they sacrifice people. They do a whole lot of goofy stuff. that they don't allow the regular people to do, because they want the regular people to be under the law of the New Testament. Because if we got you under this new covenant, we can govern you easier. We can control you easier. We can step in and be the middleman. We can have you looking at something that you ain't really looking at, thinking that you're doing something that you're really not doing. Universal laws don't change. Man laws change. So when you see a book that has an Old Testament and a New Testament, that should let you know right there something wrong with the equation. If it's a universal law, it should only be one testament. Shouldn't be no change. A lot of people ain't ready for that conversation. But we're going to keep going. There's a lot of conversations when it comes to this Bible, man. A lot of people really ain't ready for. So the woman saw that the tree was good for food. It was pleasant to the eyes. That's another thing, pleasant to the eyes. Oh, man. Hold on, I'm finna show y'all a clip right now. Let me put a clip in here. I'm finna put a clip in here right now. Because I talk about this in the book of Symbology about the curse of the sexual alpha. I'm going to do a whole video on this. And got this woman. She not feeling this dude. And then the dude, he walk up to her. I'm just giving y'all a quick synopsis of the video. Once the woman sees something that's pleasurable to the eyes, she instantly drop her guard, and now she wants the fruit. Let's roll the footage.
Yo, dang, you got blue eyes. I like you. You nice. Can I sit here and talk to you right quick?
No.
I can't? Why I can't sit here and talk to you?
You're not my type.
I ain't your type. What's your type then?
Not you.
Not me? Dang, I want to know your type. You don't like light skins, tall, short? What's up?
Just not you.
Not me?
Nah.
Sure, all right, that's cool then. But I mean, I'm trying to do a YouTube video too. And that's what I really came over for. That's why I got this bag. So I'm trying to do a little YouTube video. And then, I got the cameras. You all right? You don't want a network?
I'm good.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Dang, that's crazy. Look, I'm about to show you this lens.
You can sit right here.
I can sit right here?
Yeah.
Bet. So look, check this out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Check what out?
Look, I got this lens,
Check what out? You?
Yeah, check this out. Hold on. What you doing?
What?
You live in my...
Check it out.
You said I want your type. You trying to look up my...
Look.
Hold on, stand right. You on that type of time? Hold on, stand up right quick. I thought you were trying to talk to me.
What are you trying to film? Look.
Do a little 360 right quick. Let me see something. Oh my God. Dang, you doing that?
Okay,
Hold on, I ain't even see it.
I want you though.
You want me now?
Uh-huh.
You gotta wait. Let me get the knife actually your name. Hold on, what's your name?
Leah.
Leah? Hold on, sit down. Let me talk to you right quick.
And that's what temptation can do to you. Especially when you are an emotional creature. Like the woman, naturally, she's emotional. She's the polar, she's the, because you got two sides of every coin. You got the emotional side and you got the logical side. Emotion and logic makes up a human being. Women, I would say, are 70% emotional. They break down easy. They're weaker, got more estrogen. It leads to dudes who got more estrogen, they are normally more emotional type of dudes. So then you got dudes who got testosterone, they more logical. So when you are more logical, you can look at something that you desire, and then you can say, okay, I really desire to have this, but now let me look at what it's going to cost me on the bike end. And your logic might outweigh the desire for you to have something, because you might be like, okay, yeah, I desire to have this now, but when I think about the consequences that's going to come from it, I don't desire the consequences. So I'd rather not have the consequences that's going to come from me getting this more than I'd rather have that, so I can say no to that. Women, they don't have that. They don't, as a whole, they don't have that second layer. A woman can be married, and as long as she don't see the temptation, she's cool. If you put the temptation in her face, she's liable to have a body betrayal. She's liable to lose sense of her focus and become vulnerable. That's why it's called a vulnerable state. And that's when most snakes attack. They attack a woman when she's in a vulnerable state. It's not the woman's fault. The woman is not in a vulnerable state 24/7. This is what a lot of dudes like to They like to get on females when females get caught up in the game. And this happens to females all the time. They get caught in a vulnerable state. I myself, dealt with a lot of females in vulnerable states. I done turned a lot of bras down in vulnerable states. And that made them more receptive to the Mac kills. I'm like, nah, shawty, you going through something right now. You dude done this, you know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 blah. You dude used to be my homeboy. Now you trying to give me the Splitsville. Nah, man, I'm about this money anyway. You know what I'm saying? They ain't finna, betray my homeboy for no creek nut. You know what I'm saying? If I deal with a bro, she got to take care of me. Oh, but I take care of you too. You need a place to stay. I'll move you in. You want the keys to the car? Oh, hey, bro, I got to, hey, bro, it's business now, bro. It's mafia now. You know how the mob telling nigga, boy, it ain't nothing personal. It's just business. When she started talking that money, hey, bro, it's business now. So, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna run that. I'm gonna run that off GP to get you off that vulnerable state because I want you to think logically. I want you to think if you try to turn me against my homie, it's gonna cost you some money. And then my homie gonna be less liable to be mad at me because he gonna be like, yeah, you done left me. I was taking care of you. Now you done got with my dog Joe, and my dog Joe breaking your ass. I done looked through, a broad done showed me the text messages, and my homie was laughing. I was like, look at you. How much money you getting that nigga? How much money? He breaking your stupid ass. That's what you get. She say, so I don't care. The dick good. But my dog wasn't mad at me. My dog, he understood. He like, hey, bro, I like, man. I said, yeah, man, I told her. I told her, I said, man, you ain't finna try to bite though my dog and you think I'm finna bite though my dog just so I can hit it. You gonna break bread? Then, man, come break bread. And my dog just gonna have to, he like, hey, bro, I can't even be mad at that, bro. That's some real player shit. And he respected it. Because it wasn't all about me just trying to bite though him for a nut. I'm about this money. He knew I'm about this money, so he ain't even get mad at the bitch. He laughed at the bitch and said, how much money you breaking my dog off? Because my dog about that money. I know my dog told your stupid ass you had to pay before you even came his way. So I hit her with the logic to make her say, hey, man, do you really desire this? Because I know you're not thinking rationally right now. You in your feelings right now. So let me throw some of my logic on you so you can see what this going to cost you on the bike end. And her emotions still overpowered the logic even when I gave it to her. This is why I'm always saying, just because women are the game don't necessarily mean that they have the game. And that's a universal law. That's a universal law that go all the way back to Genesis chapter 3. Just because women are the game don't mean they necessarily have the game. She saw the fruit. It was tempting to the eyes. She ate the fruit. And then guess what she do? Guess what she do? She gave it to her husband, and with her, he did eat. Then we go to verse 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Once they ate that fruit, they gang got as sharp as they mind. This is why I don't believe this. This is why I particularly don't believe this story to be a factual story from the earthly God or the creator of the universe dealing with people. Because why would the earthly God want his people to be ignorant? Only listen to what I tell you to do. Do as I say. Only eat this fruit. Don't stay away from that. Stay away from that knowledge. Stay away from that knowledge. So in this story, they hit two birds with one stone. They demonized the woman. They demonized the pimping, the dude that's smooth enough to talk to the woman, and they call him a serpent. So the guy with game get demonized, the player. The woman gets demonized, and the man get demonized. And anybody who seeks knowledge gets demonized. So they kill 4 birds with one stone. Don't seek knowledge. This is why they don't promote channels like mine. You can scroll your news feed. You're going to see a whole bunch of goofies. I know what you're going to see on your news feed. I don't got to know your algorithms. I don't know what you got to watch. You're going to see a whole bunch of people dancing. You gonna hear that? What new song they got on TikTok? That don't be scared, nine nigga, ain't a nigga sleeping, ain't, boom, boom, pop out. The nigga who sound like, you gonna hear the dude sound like NBA Youngboy, who not NBA Youngboy. You gonna hear Lil Uzi Vert. Well, I don't know if she foreign, whatever that dumb shit is. Every time that shit come on I try to turn it within 2 seconds so the algorithms don't think I wanna see no stupid shit like that. You gonna hear Lil Uzi Vert. You gonna hear, I know what you're gonna hear on your algorithm. They're not gonna pop up no Professor Jokasey. You're gonna have to search this shit out. Or you're gonna have to watch so much of this shit that the algorithm gonna know, hey man, that's what they wanna watch. Let me just go ahead and just show it to them every once in a blue moon. And it ain't gonna be every day, it's just gonna be once in a blue moon. Cause they don't want you eating the knowledge. I'm the fruit. I'm the fruit in the garden. When they say don't eat that fruit, you eat that fruit. That's the tree of life and death. Knowledge. That's the tree of game. Eve ate the game. The serpent was the pimping. He said, I'm going to give you this game. The moment Eve stopped to listen to the pimping, she ate the game. That was the tree was her ear. The fruit of knowledge was the game that he gave to her. Then she went back and gave the game to her husband. Gave the game to her husband. Her husband was just too lame to give it to Eve, so he had to get it from Eve after she got it from the snake. So her husband really had to get the game from the snake. Because God wasn't going to give it to him. If you believe the Bible, God wasn't going to never give him the game. God told him to stay away from the game. And if you go get this game, you're going to get punished. If you believe Genesis and the Bible. And I know God is the ultimate knowledge, the ultimate source of information, the ultimate source of wisdom. And I believe God loves his creatures too much to ever keep any type of knowledge from them. So when I read something like this, I'm thinking maybe somebody came up on this knowledge and said, I got to keep everybody else from getting this knowledge. And maybe this story was the best they could come up with to keep people in the dark, man. Because once you start to understand what's really going on, once you start tipping into quantum physics and all this other stuff like this, man, you can literally start changing the universe. You can literally start changing the world you live in. Once you start changing your vibrations and your frequencies, the universe will have to react to you and have to put you on in line with whatever frequencies that you're giving off. You become a glitch in the matrix the moment you change your frequencies. And then everything has to adapt. So when it says the eyes of both of them were open and they knew that they was naked, they sewed fig leaves together, snitching on themselves, and made themselves April. Verse 8 say, and they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves in the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he has said, I heard in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, who told you thou was naked? Who gave you this game? Who put you up on game, Adam? You weren't supposed to know that shit. How you know something? That's like a slave stopping at a red stop. Who made that joke? Chris Rock. When the slave knew how to read and he had to drive the thing and he seen the red light come up and he couldn't stop at the red light because he ain't want he ain't want the slave master to know he read the sign that said stop. So he said, oh, I just saw that little red octagon thingy. And then the slave master looked at him and said, nigga, who taught you octagon? You tried to say you didn't know what stopped me, and because you didn't want to know you could read, but you told on yourself when you said octagon. Nigga, you ain't supposed to know that either. Who gave you the game, Adam? And he said, I heard in the voice, I hear myself. Who told thee thou was naked? And hast thou eaten of the game, the tree, where I commanded thee that thou shalt not eat? Hast thou ate the game? And the man said, the woman who thou gavest me gave me the game, gave me the fruit of the tree, and I did eat. The woman gave him the game. And the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? Why have you turned the simpism against me, woman? Now I can't control the simpism no more. I can't control him. I got no use for him. And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. The pippin laced me, and I did eat. Verse 13 goes on to say, and the Lord God said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Then verse 14 says, and the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. I will put enmity between you and the woman. Any man we gain, because the serpent was the pimp. The serpent was laced up. I will put enmity between you and the woman. Come on, man. Y'all gotta understand how this go. Because in reality, this what really happened. In reality, the enmity was placed between the woman and Adam. In reality, the beef between the woman's seed was placed between the seed of the woman who was getting pregnant from serpents up until this day and Adam. The enmity is between the woman and the dude who's not laced with the game. It's not between the woman and the serpent. So when I see that the Bible has placed it as the beef is between the woman and the serpent, I know that somebody wrote this with the intent to manipulate. This isn't the game speaking. God is the author of the game. The game is rooted in universal laws. Universal laws don't change. So I have no reason to believe that things done changed from the time that God told Eve that, the beef will be between her and the serpent, and then somehow miraculously it changed now that nowadays the beef is between the red pill dudes who are Adam, basically, and the woman. Nah, the game don't change. Universal laws stay the same. The woman and the serpent still cool. The serpent is still the woman's guilty pleasure. This is what people ain't catching, man. But at the end of the day, God, who is the higher authority, did curse the serpent. That's why whenever a woman put a Me Too charge on somebody who used the game to manipulate her, they come at him. That's why whenever the pimping get caught for pimping, he got to face traffic charges. That's why you got people who wasn't even pimps, like R. Kelly, getting caught up on RICO charges. But the last time R. Kelly got caught up, everybody was over 18, but I think they got R. Kelly for that Aaliyah thing. I think they went back to Aaliyah and that tape. He had that tape. But if you gamed up, bro, if you gamed up and you playing a game the way they don't want you to play the game, the higher authority. That's who they want you to see God as. A step down on the serpent. So I'm trying to figure out what all the universal laws they really put in this chapter, because the universal laws are really basic. The law that the woman will always be the downfall of a man, that's not a universal law. That's a law that was manipulated, that people are run as a universal law. The idea that more wars have been fought over women than anything, more dudes have died over what a woman want and all this stuff here, that's ideas that universal laws that have been manipulated through different theologies and ideologies over the centuries and millennia. At the end of the day, the only universal law I see here is that the first sin ever committed was the sin of simpism. The sin of simpism will destroy a man. That's the only universal law that I got from chapter 3. Nothing to do with no females, no nothing. The sin of simpism will destroy a man. That and the root of your desires will always be the cause of your simpism. Because anytime you could think of when a woman done did something and a war done been fought over a woman, it was a simp dude somewhere caused that. Simp dude who had a tender dick didn't know how to say no to a bitch with a fat ass. Simp dude who didn't understand his power in the game, and he let a woman manipulate him into doing something. Because if it was all about the woman would go out and do it herself. If a simp dude was dumb enough to let the woman manipulate him into doing something simpish, that's not on the woman, that's on him. That's on him. So that's just my little stance on Genesis chapter 3. Bro wanted me to speak on universal laws, and I'm just trying to, I don't know, maybe I need to let my brain marinate on what I just read. Maybe I see something that I don't see right now. Trying to get it out, but yeah. You know, when I was speaking, the Bible is rooted in universal laws. This was one of them, but, there's so many other examples that, I only seen one in this one. One, maybe two, maybe three, when you really dig deep into it. And a lot of those have been manipulated to, shape people ideologies and steer people in directions that they want to steer people in so they can make people think what they want to make people think. Me, I don't get paid for that, man. I told you I make way more money off my investments than I make off YouTube. So I'm not on YouTube for the money. I care less about the money. See what I'm saying? I'm on YouTube to try to help people. I'm on YouTube to try to teach this game. And I'm on YouTube to spread awareness so people can get their game as sharp as they mind. If this is a movement you can get behind, then, support the movement. Go on Amazon, purchase the books, hop on the Patreon. Support the game, man. Support the game. And hopefully, this game will land into the hands of somebody who can actually be helped by it, be saved by it, and they can get their game as sharp as they mind. With that being said, y'all be cool on your stool. Understand ain't not cooking with 2 peas in a pot. And they ain't cooking the stove ain't hot. I'm Jokasey. I'll catch y'all on the next one.